So on Friday the 22nd, R. Kelly was he turned himself in and is being charged with 10 counts of criminal sexual abuse charges. There are four new victims, four new women who have come along, and they have alleged to have been attacked between 1998 and 2010. DNA was found on one woman's shirt, and then DNA was found on another piece of clothing that was tested and obviously found out to be his. Um, One woman said that she was going over to braid his hair, and then he tried to force her to have oral sex with him. She said she was able to break free, but he spit in her face and ejaculated on her, is what she's saying. Um, the police and the judges, they made him surrender his passport, and he's banned from contact from anyone under the age of 18. Um, I mean, this is actually a milestone. This is a victory, I would say, for all the young black girls who have been abused or manipulated by R. Kelly into doing things, Um, Uh, but the only thing I have a problem with is the fact that this it's taken so long. Like it's been well over 20 something years, and he's been out there allegedly assaulting young black girls, young women, for years, and they're finally just doing something about it. Like I hate to drag my girl into this, and because I hate the negative attention to her name. But when he married Ali at 15, he should have been prosecuted and sent to jail. When he peed on Lashonda Landfair and had sex with her at 14, and people were circulating that child pornography around, he should have been arrested and prosecuted at that time. Now, the rumors are that he paid off judges, may have paid off lawyers, he might have paid off the Landfair family because people, have done videos where they've connected the fact that her family still works with him, her father, her brother, things of that nature. And then people were accusing her of being the woman that's in the house training the girls or whatever. I just feel like, there's no reason for somebody of his caliber, for an A-list or a celebrity in general, a musician, to been out there for well over 20 years, being able to, be a predator against young black girls. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I remember in sixth grade, we sung R. Kelly song for sixth grade graduation. This is after the trial. This is after everything has already been said and done. So I guess because he got acquitted, people believe that, it wasn't him, even though a lot of people today claim they saw the sex tape and they knew it was him back then. But yet and still, he still got off scot free. I remember Trapped in the Closet was really popular. All his songs like Step into Love, Ignition, people were rotating, we were dancing to it. They're playing at cookouts and, birthday parties and weddings and things of that nature. So now this stuff is ingrained into our head. And for us, for them to let us sing that as kids, where was the outrage by the staff, the administrators, teachers, parents, if people knew that he was a sexual predator at the time, why were we able to sing his song for graduation? What's up with that? I just think that, people drop the ball. They let this shit go on for way too long. Even if Rashonda Landfair testified and said that it wasn't her, he still should have been prosecuted based off the fact that Sparkle testified and based off the fact that many people said that it was him in the sex tape. The people knew that the little girl was underage. Um, I just don't get it. I think that it's unfortunate that, something is just happening with this situation when something should have been done a long time ago. Again, we sung his song for sixth grade graduation. Like at the time, I had no, like when we were kids, adults didn't talk about him being a predator. They didn't talk about the sex tape. We didn't know nothing about it. All we knew was the music, Trapped in the Closet, and things of that nature. And you may have heard about the sex tape depending on who you were around as a kid at the time. But I didn't. We didn't. Most kids didn't know anything about that shit when it was going on because social media wasn't prevalent. There wasn't a big social media presence at all. Um, so, with these four new victims, they've been able to build the case. Also, there was a new sex tape that surfaced with him having sex with another underage girl, also 14 years old. And he's also allegedly referring to her age in the sex tape. Now, I hope they don't put this sex tape out, but I guess put some type of evidence out so that we can see that it is him in the tape. But a new tape has surfaced, and I'm like, so where did this tape come from? Where are people finding? It took Lifetime to do a documentary with a whole bunch of women to tell their stories for people to finally say, oh my God, let's get R. Kelly. And again, I'm not saying that I'm not happy and I'm not glad that women are finally going to get justice for what has happened to him. But what I'm saying is, why was this allowed to be going on for so long? They need to get his enablers. They need to go after his team. They need to go after his lawyers. They need to go after people involved in any of his trials and any of that thing going on. Because again, how are you allowed to be a predator and predate on young women for years, for well over 20 years, and nobody does anything about it? And it takes a documentary on television for people to finally wake up and be outraged about it. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have been outraged, but again, where was this fight 20 or something years ago? People knew that he was a predator, but he was still doing songs with artists, writing songs for artists. They were still putting him on radio stations. They were still doing interviews with R. Kelly. And even with the interview with Toure, when he asked him, do he like underage girls, he couldn't answer that question honestly, without entrapping himself. So again, this has been a problem for years, and it seemed like nobody cared. I'm not sure. In the wicked Me Too movement, you have a lot of people coming out that sexual abuse cases, and finally telling their stories and not being scared to speak out. But it just, I think it's unfortunate that a lot of young black girls allegedly have been assaulted and abused by one R. Kelly. And, it's something that's finally being done. So that means there's been 20 plus years of him, just abusing women. And, nothing was done about it. Again, he was arrested. I mean, he turned himself in on Friday. He had Azriel Curry and Jocelyn Savage with him when he turned himself in. So that's another interesting thing to look at. Again, I'm just disappointed, in society. I'm disappointed with the fact that it's been well over 20 some years and he's just getting charged with 10 counts of sexual abuse charges. And again, he has gone to court before. He has had many trials, but he's always gotten off. And allegedly it's because he has always been paying people. So again, it's interesting to see what's going to come of this trial. It's interesting to going to see if he actually goes to jail behind this. Now they set the bail for $1 million, so that means there's going to be a charge for each victim, each of the four victims, and then they I think it was like 250,000 for each person. So the bill is set for 1 million, and we'll see what comes of this case. I'm happy that somebody's finally cracking down. They're finally going after him and his enablers. I'm happy that's finally happening. But again, speaking from being a kid at the time when all of this happened, and the old generation dropping the ball and not letting us know what was really going on. To me, that's kind of disheartening because I knew about, the whole Leah thing and I knew about the sex tape, but I didn't know that he was actually seen as a predator. He's actually allegedly abusing, and mistreating women for well over 20 years like that. That was kind of new to a lot of people, I think. So again, it's interesting to see what's going to come up with this case. We'll see.